If I told you that, right now, thousands of loaves of bread, pasta, and cakes in Europe could contain a hidden ingredient, would you believe me? On January 20th, 2025, the European Union officially approved the use of Tenebrio molitor powder, the larva of a beetle, as an ingredient for bakery products. The news was sold as innovation. But what's the real story behind this new food? Before we jump into conspiracy theories, we need to understand the foundation of this change. The European Union defines novel food as any ingredient not consumed on a large scale in Europe before May 15, 1997. This includes algae lab-grown meat and, yes, insects. For safety, each proposal goes through a rigorous scientific assessment, and this story has been built step by step. In 2013, the UN praised insects as a future food solution. In 2023, partially defatted crickets got the EU's green light. By 2024, 6 insect-based ingredients were approved. Today, 7 products have market authorization, and 10 have received positive safety opinions. It seems like rapid progress, but as we'll see, nothing happened in the shadows. But what makes insects so attractive? And do we actually need them? The answer lies in a 3-part equation: feeding more people with less environmental impact through innovation. Cattle farming takes up huge amounts of land and water. Insects can be raised in stacked trays, requiring far fewer resources and producing almost no greenhouse gases. It's no wonder scientists and environmentalists back these mini protein factories. A 2025 study cataloged 523 insect-based products sold in Europe, from protein bars to flours. Most use mealworm as the base. Foods made with whole insects or powder tend to be higher in protein. Still, quantities are small, and most consumers try them out of curiosity rather than habit. And that brings us to another key point. Even if they're sustainable, who's actually willing to eat crickets or larvae, and who's driving this movement? While eating insects is normal in parts of Asia, Africa, and Latin America, Europeans and Americans still tend to wrinkle their noses. High prices, unfamiliar taste, and the yuck factor are common barriers. The industry knows this. That's why the ingredient often appears under scientific names, making it less obvious to the average shopper. Critics say this is a subtle way to normalize insect consumption without a broad public debate. But who risks money on a product that triggers disgust? Let's meet the companies betting big on this trend. In Italy, Nutrinsect has been raising millions of crickets since 2020. In January 2024, they got the green light to sell cricket flour for human consumption. For the CEO, this opens a new page in food history. The flour, sold for about €6, is marketed for bread, pasta, and pizza, without aiming to replace Italian classics. Protix, Insect, and Next Protein are just some of the players running insect farms for fish feed, pet food, and, slowly, human diets. They rely on scientific backing and environmental messaging to attract investors. If startups are doing this, imagine what happens when food giants step in. In October 2023, Tyson Foods, one of the world's largest meat producers, invested in Dutch company Protix. The deal includes building a massive black soldier fly facility in the U.S., scheduled for 2025. It will breed and process flies in a closed loop, producing feed for fish, pet food, and fertilizers. CFO John Tyson said waste from Tyson's own meat plants will be used as larvae feed, creating circularity and new revenue streams. Meanwhile, the European Investment Bank approved up to €37 million for Protix to expand and build a plant in Poland. The bank's vice president says the goal is to boost sustainable bioeconomy solutions, potentially unlocking 372 billion euros in future investments. And that's not all. Nestlé, via its Purina brand, is testing insect-based pet food, a sign of a paradigm shift in the pet market. Reports suggest brands like Next Protein, Scout and Zoe, and Simply Pet Foods are aiming to provide greener, more nutritious options for animals. So, when billion-dollar corporations and public banks pour money into this industry, is it still just an environmental trend or a strategic economic move? And amid all this, conspiracy theories are spreading. But what do they really claim? And what's the truth? Online, some claim the UN and World Economic Forum are conspiring to ban meat and force everyone to eat insects. The theory leans on the UN's Agenda 2030, but when you actually read it, it's just a set of voluntary goals, like ending hunger, reducing inequality, and promoting clean energy. There's no mention of insects and no ban on meat. In the UK and EU, any product containing insects needs prior approval and clear labeling. Nothing is being hidden. The rollout is regulated and limited to certain species. So, if there's no global mandate, what's really at stake? Let's put the pieces together. So, is there a conspiracy? The evidence says no. What we do see is a combination of factors. Research showing insects are nutritious and sustainable, legislation creating safe pathways for new proteins, and companies and governments eyeing new business opportunities. Cultural acceptance is still the biggest barrier, but investment trends show that, at least in pet food and feed, insects are here to stay. This isn't about a secret mandate. It's about an economic and environmental shift. The choice to eat them or not is still yours. Our best defense? Information and awareness. Read labels, ask questions, and join the conversation. What do you think? Have you tried, or would you try, products made with insect flour? Share your thoughts, subscribe, and check out our next video on ultra-processed foods. See you next time.